Hello. My name is Dean Emerson Isley. I've served in various positions at my home church, beginning with greeter, platform person, singing special music. I served on the board as the vice president and was eventually hired as spiritual leader upon the retirement of our minister. My home church is in Huntsville, Alabama. It's called Unity Church on the Mountain. Since I am now a licensed Unity minister, I am Reverend Dean Isley, and I serve there as the senior minister. My biggest takeaways from the reading material has been that it's affirmed for me my practice of preaching from Spirit. And I believe that preaching from Spirit begins with our life, living in accordance with Spirit, in harmony with Spirit. Unceasing prayer. And I don't say that I always do it, but it is where I'm trying to be. And my awareness of myself continues to increase and allow me to be in that state of prayer. And it is out of this state that the talks come. The board has asked me to come up with titles of talks before the Sunday so they can be in the bulletin, so that the music team can prepare music that's compatible with the talk. At first this was a challenge, but now I'm able to open myself to Spirit in advance and get the subject of the talk and come up with a title. If I'm ever at loss when I sit down to do the newsletter on Tuesday evening, I can just look at the Daily Word and find what the Daily Word is for the Sunday that I want to do the talk and use the ideas from that to come up with a title. Inevitably, I find that Spirit leads me into reading material or events that happen in my life that support the talk when it's time to give it. I work out the talks mostly in my head. Sometimes I will write a brief outline down. But one thing that I've discovered in the reading that I'm not doing, and I'm considering to add that, is I believe that mostly my talks have been topical. In other words, I will get a title, and that would introduce to me the topic that I would then talk about. And I would pull from scriptures in different places in the Bible, trying to give something from the New Testament, something from the Old Testament, and then basically expound or bring forward this description of this topic. Whereas this idea of an exposition appeals to me, that I can take Scripture and just continue reading through the Scripture as it is presented and use that Scripture as a springboard from the talk as I go and as a structure for the talk. So this is something that I look forward to trying out for the first time soon. I really like this whole idea that a good preaching comes from Spirit. I am fascinated by the idea of the compatibility, the harmony of Spirit with Word. Because Word for me is one of those ideas in Christianity that I think is often misinterpreted. Because for me the Word, as I read it in the Gospel of John chapter 1, verse 1 and 2, and in that area, this Word is something that's not only what's written down in the Scripture, but more along the line of what our author talks about as the living Word. And in seeing it as the living Word, it's hard for me to discriminate it or contrast it with Spirit, because they seem to be the same thing. The living Word being that which is the ongoing creation and not only the substance, but the idea in the substance. And this whole idea in unity of the divine order. This which we participate in whom we live and move and have our being. Sometimes the Word has been written down. The truth that's inherent in the Word, that's written on our heart already, is written down. And that's how I see Scripture. Not only the Bible, but other Scriptures. For example, this Sunday coming, I'm going to be doing a talk that's based on a poem by Rumi. The truth of it speaks to me. It spoke to me when I read it the first time. I thought this would make a really good springboard for a talk. These seed ideas that are in it. So I don't want to be bound as the Bible, and especially the canonical Bible, to be my only Scripture. Often I will speak from the Gospel of Thomas. But I am 100% believer that a good talk comes from Spirit, and my willingness to be open to the message that Spirit is trying to bring into the world through me. This idea of surrender is very important in my talk, because without Spirit, I know I would not be where I'm at now, and I certainly wouldn't be doing these talks on Sunday. Thank you very much for this opportunity to introduce myself and my relationship to these ideas. I look forward to the rest of the class.